Okay, so first I'll just share a little context about me. When I was a young girl, I wrote in my journal. I mean, I was probably like 9 or 10 years old at the time. One of my goals was to take over the world and make it all unite in peace. And I didn't know how I was going to do this, but ultimately now we're all doing this together. So I'm just so glad for that. And I remember when I was growing up, there was financial stress in our family, and that's actually what caused the most pain in our family. You know, we had a fairly good childhood, but I just remember this, and I remember thinking that is something that people should never have to go through. And so it's been my mission in my life to help other people be able to be financially successful, and that's ultimately why I went into financial planning and real estate. Later, I realized that just making more money is not going to actually take us to that next level, but it's actually solving the root of the issue, which I'll get into. So that began my journey in real estate investment and finance. So I did financial planning, real estate investing. I did over 50 wholesales and flips. So you can see one of them right here pictured, where we took down walls and added rooms and bathrooms, and we got about $5 million in funding raised for these projects, and I built a large network of investors, real estate investors specifically. And then we started a 1,000-member real estate group. I was doing public speaking to about 100 people every single month who came. We had a investment training team for 200 people. And we also did other things like rental houses and Airbnbs. So after, accomplishing a lot of my goals that I had in real estate, I ultimately felt like I said, like this, it's just going to be about making more and more money. But I see, I look around and I see all these global systemic issues in the world. Now, how am I going to be able to play my part in solving these? And so I really wanted to, take a look at how these issues could be solved. And what we realized is the financial scarcity is one of the root causes of a lot of the major issues today, like creative suppression, people not being able to do what they love because they have to make money, homelessness, hunger, not being able to have access to basic resources, environmental destruction, which causes natural disasters and global warming, species extinction, disconnection, addiction, even war, because it's basically like you're fighting over resources, right? So most of you guys know this today. And so what we need to do now, like Buckminster Fuller said, is you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, create a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. And I really got inspired when I watched the Venus Project when I was in real estate, and realize how when we have access to all of our resources, it can actually solve all these world problems because we're living off the land. If you haven't watched the Venus Project before, check it out on YouTube. There's a documentary for free called Paradise or Oblivion, and it's about this circular city design where it provides all of your resources, and it uses a resource-based economy rather than a monetary-based economy. And what this does is it actually is able to have people be living their passions or creating or innovating rather than having to worry about how they make money, which can ultimately create such a more beautiful world. So when I saw this, I started beginning the research and started traveling to all these different communities around the world, in US, Costa Rica, Australia, Thailand, Colorado, all over the US, Mexico, and really figuring out, what's working, what's not, but also meeting some of the greatest minds in, regenerative systems and permaculture design and even governance methods, and, healing centers and retreat centers and all of these things. And then I started a company, New Earth Development, that is now helping many eco-villages be able to bring the practical skill sets of financial modeling, real estate, and other things that, regenerative systems, other things people need to be able to have in order to, get funding for their projects, or project management systems in their projects to be able to be as efficient as possible. So here's some of the projects that we've worked with. And if you want to learn more about that, there's more details on my website, but for lack of time, I'm not going to go through it right now. And then ultimately, after working on about 14 projects, we created this concept called abundancia. So this was really meant to bring in all of the pieces that we had and be able to create a model that actually liberates residents from survival needs so that we can eventually transition to that resource-based economy. So this enables people to thrive in harmony with nature and each other while actually regenerating the environment. So this was a project on 1,400 acres in Costa Rica. We created, the development plan for it. We created the financial model that made this possible, where I'll explain a little bit more about the economic model in a minute. But what made that possible is eventually transitioning to a resource-based economy. Then we created a business plan, like a 100-page business plan, pitch deck, website, investment strategy, initial land feasibility studies. We did real estate negotiations. We got all of our legal entities set up. We have full legal team, had an accounting team, got all of our partners, architecture, construction, regenerative systems, and we even had seed capital ready to go for this project. And then 2 other offers came in at the same time as ours, and we didn't end up getting the land. So we were like, okay, well, what do? We have all of these plans and everything ready to go, but not the land. So we started looking for land partnerships, and what we created was land partnerships and investors. So due to having all of these things ready, it made other people take us seriously. So we actually ended up partnering on a beautiful beachfront land in Nicaragua on 4,000 acres. We have other land partnerships forming. Also, investors are now taking us seriously because we've really thought through the detail of everything. And we have relationships with investors stewarding 600 billion in funds. So these types of investors, 20 million is sometimes their minimum of what they'll do. So we realize that it's even better to dream big sometimes because you can actually get the money a little bit more easily. So it's also brought us speaking engagements, speaking around the world, and helped us speak at an investor network called Greenfinger, focusing on regenerative projects, which is like one of the largest investor networks for regenerative projects. And so this is just wanted to share with you this project we're doing here now called Ubuntu in Nicaragua, focusing on conservation, agroforestry, housing, having an innovation center for solving those global systemic issues, permaculture design, co-working. I'm not going to go into too much detail on that. But now that we have the regenerative development experience and knowledge after visiting these communities and working on these projects, network of thousands of investors, and network of hundreds of regenerative systems experts, we actually want to share this model with you. So that's what I'm going to do. So we believe the transformation of the real estate development industry to incorporate the regenerative infrastructure and economic models in which humans don't have to worry about survival will allow a renaissance of consciousness, love, innovation, and collaboration never before seen on Earth. And this is a little bit about our why. Basically, our mission is to demonstrate and scale an innovation of the real estate development model, which is self-sustaining, zero waste, net positive, carbon sequestering, and transitions humanity from meeting survival needs to a civilization where all humans are free to focus on their creative passions and purpose. So this is the solution, to be able to create a model where when a resident pays off their home, it's actually the last purchase that they're ever going to have to make. So they can focus on connection with themselves, each other, nature, that benefit, and innovations that benefit humanity and the planet. So we're going to share a little bit of this model with you, and then we're going to go into the 5 elements of fundraising, because we think it's a really important piece of understanding how to integrate these different models into the actual financial structure. So this actually happens through regenerative communities and cities that intelligently manage Earth's resources using regenerative economic models, regenerative development methods, and regenerative lifestyle. So this is a really important piece in the regenerative economic model. So when an investor comes in and invests into the project, then our model that we use, and you can modify this as you want, but basically the profits from the lot and the house sales pay investors, and they also pay for rentals and amenities that can actually generate revenue on an ongoing basis. So all the operational costs and regenerative systems can be paid for, And basically then they can cover that food, water, energy, and waste systems so that people don't have to be paying for those HOA fees on an ongoing basis. Also, the profits from that, like 10% of the profits from the ongoing revenue, or however much percentage you want to put in, can go to the community treasury DAO, where people can actually vote on things and amenities that they want to see within the project, so people can pursue their creative passions and purpose. And then the rest of the funds go into either building more of these communities and nonprofit regenerative projects. So teaching, the surrounding community about regenerative materials they can use and permaculture and things like that, so you can make a positive impact on the community. And then the cycle just goes again. So next, the regenerative development methods are really important, because if you build with materials that break down over time, you'll have to have a ton of maintenance, and then you won't be able to actually just let that ongoing revenue be able to pay for that. It may just on a smaller basis, but if you can actually build with materials that last for hundreds of years, obviously healthy materials, but also disaster resilient type of structures, including biophilic design, and have all these regenerative systems paid for. And then you have all of the regenerative amenities to create that positive lifestyle for people to live in alignment with their values, including, biodegradable products and healing centers, new paradigm education that focuses on experiential education, and other regenerative features. Then it provides that base to the model. And then this can create an abundant and thriving lifestyle by developing these types of communities that ensure the liberation of all residents. We can usher in an era of unprecedented abundance, innovation, and thriving quality of life, because people are free to put their full energy into pursuing their passions, creating art, innovating solutions to world problems, and ultimately living in alignment with their values. So the way that this actually happens, that ties it all together, is through Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So when you have your physiological needs taken care of, then your safety needs are also taken care of through gated security for physical safety, and then emotional safety, having conflict resolution strategies. Then you have your belongingness and love needs taken care of through having community events and authentic relating. And also you have your esteem and accomplishment needs taken care of through involvement in community decisions, regenerating the environment, and having global initiatives. Then each of us can actually go into our self-actualization, where we're creatively expressing, whether that be in art, inventorship, entrepreneurship, education, music, health and wellness. And then now we're getting into how to raise funding. Once you have that model down and you know that you're creating this for self-actualization, what are these 5 elements of raising funding? So we related the elements of the earth to how we can raise funding: ether, earth, water, air, and fire. So for ether, this is where you're visualizing the dream, right? This is pretty obvious, but it's really important to make sure that you have the vision fully clear, and you bring it down, from your higher self, from the ethers. And so then this brings you focus and motivation, helps you make congruent decisions, and attracts the aligned people on your team. And then next is, let me go into deeper. So the way that you actually do this is, visualization, meditation to connect to your highest vision for your project. You can create your mission alignment. You also have documents for your vision, mission, purpose, values, and goals, so you can communicate that to all stakeholders. And you can also research other communities for inspiration on all of this. And then you have your earth element. So this is grounding your vision. This is where you actually, get the detailed plan of everything that's going to be in it and make it real. So this gains you financial feasibility. This gains you the certainty and confidence, and then also credibility, because others actually feel safe with your plan to be able to give you this funding. So I do want to share with you, our model that we use for the financial model, because I think this is a key missing piece in a lot of communities that I see, is having a really well thought out financial model. And maybe you already have some of these things, but this really helps you not miss any of the details. So in the development planning process, you're going to do land and site analysis and due diligence, choosing your regenerative development type, choosing the systems that you're going to have, and then creating your financial model and pro formas, then assessing hard cost site work, soft cost marketing, and assessing your revenue generation streams, finding comparable analysis for your market research, and then have a detailed investment analysis with equity waterfalls, cash flow distributions, and limited and general partners. So I'm going to actually share with you guys the model for this after I go through all the steps and just kind of get understanding. So then we have the providing it nutrients, you're helping it grow by actually getting true clarity on all the different pieces in your development plan and also being able to have that clear execution plan. So you have the real know-how, you're doing your market research, understanding the legalities of your location, the demographics, and the more information that you have, then you can actually really have an implementable plan because you've really done that research. And then, of course, creating inspiration. So this is where you can put all of your creative, inspiring ideas and put everything on paper. So this is the business plan template that we have, just to share with you an example. And then, you'll have your business plan concepts written out and professionally designed. Then you have your executive summary, your vision, mission, guiding principles. So this is all in your business plan. Location and site context, economic analysis, geographical advantages, master plan layout, land features, weather, regulatory and political situation, business. Then you put in everything in your development plan, including buildings and amenities, the systems, the community operations, the impact, and then regenerative building and permaculture. You also have in here your team and partnerships you're going to be working with, phases of development, market research, competitive analysis, SWOT, marketing plan, financial summary, investment opportunity. So if I'm going through this too fast, then I'll give you some more details of how to get the slower version later. And then for the air element, this is where you're communicating it, you're breathing life into the vision. So presentation and pitch creation gives you that vision shareability and succinct communication and attracts a lot of like minds, investors, stakeholders, people that are attracted to your vision. And within that, here's an example of one that we've built. Being able to create first the storyboard, problem and solution. You put in all of your regenerative features, you have the revenue stream breakdown from your financial models, you have your addressable market in there, market analysis, investment opportunity, and use of funds. You have your development roadmap and website to share all your project features and forums for residents and investors. So this is all from your business plan and your development plan and model and your vision that you've created. Now you can put it all in a succinct, easy to understand pitch deck, website, and etc. Next, you have your fire element where you're actually manifesting the vision. So it's able to really happen now. So you have your go-to market strategy. You're ready to present to the investors. You have an abundance of options for investors you want to choose because they're all super interested in your project because you have everything that they need to look at, and then gives you networking opportunities. So funding strategies, basically, first you want to clarify your investment offering and terms. So maybe you're going to do an equity, maybe you're going to do debt, and then how that is going to be formed, whether it's through IRR, equity multiple, or, a percentage. So that's something that you need to look at. Also, it's really important to connect with the right lawyer who's done these types of projects before so they can help you with many things, including your entity structure and formation. And there's a lot of different creative ways of doing that. So yeah, just making sure you have the right lawyer, and you also talk to other communities on how they're doing that. And then funding methods could be crowdfunding, grants, institutional funding, private money, angel investing, usually angel for your first round for your seed capital, and then venture capital. And there's also a lot of conventional financing out there if you're living in a place that provides that for what you're looking to build. So this is basically our life's work, and we're very confident the application of these elements can help with your pre-development phase and accelerate your dream towards capitalization and reality. So I'll leave it for questions, and just wanted to share that this is actually something that we've created a free masterclass for. So you can watch a much longer version of what I just shared with you with more detail, as well as understand the new program that we have to be able to help give all the templates, walk people through this process, and then even once everything is ready and formed, then we can introduce it to our investor network. So if you already have a lot of these, then we also have a form where we actually, intake all of that, everything you have, the pitch deck, business plan, financial model, review it all, make sure there's nothing missing, and then we can send it out to our investor network as long as it matches the guidelines that we're looking for. So that's a little bit about the model and how we can help. And yeah, would love to hear any questions that you guys have.
I have a question. Thank you so much. This is really exciting. Oh, sorry, can I?
Yes, we're getting only to one question, so you're the lucky one that you got there because you're really short on time. Kelly, if you can then make the answer comprehensive but succinct. Thank you.
Just wondering how much this next step costs. So if I wanted to take my project into your platform, what's the cost of doing that? What's the cost of the next step?
So if you go to that page and register, it tells you all the details that are in the program and pricing and everything. Right now, for the next 4 days, we have $1,000 discount because we made this special because Nico wanted us to launch after our during rebuild. So basically, we have $1,000 discount right now for the next 4 days. That's on the site currently. So yeah, usually we charge like $15,000 to help projects with this. And we made this program specially for people to go through this for 5 weeks for only $2,500. So with the $1,000 discount, it's just $1,500 right now.
And the link is where, sorry?
In the chat.
Is that the, okay.
And I'll also share my contact details if you guys have any questions. And I didn't get to share the full financial model with you, but I'll try and make a Loom or something and share it later.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much, Kelly. It was just a taste of what you can share with people when they decide to work with you. It's amazing opportunity to have all your knowledge and all your pitch decks and the structure that you have created available to others. So thank you for this opportunity. And you also made my life easier by copy pasting your email address and WhatsApp number, because that's usually my question. How can people reach you personally? So you did that. Everybody just find all the links and all the contacts in the chat box before the session is over. And yeah, definitely reach out to Kelly, because this has been extremely comprehensive and very much aligned with both like how the old world works with the tested and proven methods of like investments and the financial world, but also implementing a bit of nature with the elements and really tying it up together. So thank you so much for sharing, Kelly, and everybody showing up to the session.
Thank you. Yeah, so happy to share. And yeah, definitely feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And I could also share my Facebook link. Well, you guys should just find me on Facebook, Kelly Krezik, and you can find me on Facebook and Instagram if that's easier to just send a message there. But yeah, feel free to reach out anytime.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.